Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Now, not the finest of performances on a cold, icy evening in Sheffield, but nevertheless, we claimed all 3 points. And at this stage of the season, it's all about increasing the tally and climbing up that table. So let's discuss the key moments of the game and then I'll present my player ratings. This is a calling show, so if you'd like to come on, make an appearance and have your say, the link is available in the live chat and also in the description. So let's have a look at the lineups before we start talking about the first half. So in terms of Sheffield United's lineup, slightly different setup from what I predicted. But at the same time, I half expected it with the new manager being in place now. They started the game playing a 3-4-2-1 formation. McAtee and Asula came in to complete their attack. In terms of Liverpool, Endo starts the game, which I was very pleased to see, as it's probably deserved in my opinion, and it's exactly the type of game where we'll need Endo's energy and tenacity on the pitch. Gomez starts at left back, which certainly raised the eyebrow for me, and something that didn't really breathe a lot of confidence going into the game, if I'm being honest. So Bosley also starts the game, which I thought maybe he would have been rested for this one, but you know, comes in and scores a goal, which is good. And Gakpo comes in place of Nunez to start the attack. So in terms of the first half, opening few minutes, concerning start to the game for McAllister as he was fouled by Souza, as it appeared that he stepped on his shin. The reaction from the Sheffield United players was a bit like, oh, maybe something worse than expected has happened. But thankfully, it was nothing serious and he returned to the pitch and continued the game. Around the 9th minute, Endo hits a lovely pass to Diaz on the left-hand side. He whips in across to the middle of the box to Salah, but his shot goes over the bar. 11th minute, Gomez makes an awful mistake, trying to do a Johan Cruyff turn in the halfway line. Sheffield United press. I think it was Archer that took the ball from him onto the counter-attack. 2-on-2. At that stage, you've got Trent and Gomez tracking back. McAtee was on the left-hand side. He has a shot with his left foot. Good save by the keeper. And this is exactly why I don't like Joe Gomez at left back. Not to dismiss his skill set as a defender or player. It's just an unnatural role for him to play on that side. And he tends to get caught out and kind of kills the play as well, especially from an attacking point of view. 17th minute, Archer goes through on a counter-attack, charging down the left-hand side, but Van Dijk defends beautifully as he closes the space and blocks his shot. Sheffield United are playing with a different energy against that new manager bounce. Seems to have been being a thing so far in the game. 20th minute, Liverpool start an attack that ends with Gomez on the left-hand side, hitting a cross, blocked for a corner. Van Dijk has a header from that corner that was tipped over the bar. 23rd minute, Konate has a header on target, comfortably saved by Fodringham. And then this is where the goal took place. 36th minute, Liverpool break the deadlock as Trent whips in a fantastic corner to Van Dijk. And he finishes it with great composure. A cracking assist from Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you watch the game, you know what I'm referring to right now. 39th minute, it was deja vu as Trent hits another corner and finds Van Dijk once again. But this time, it was a header and the actual shot just goes over the bar. 44th minute, Salah has a shot towards goal that hits straight at the goalkeeper. Didn't catch it with real power, but nice through ball from Szoboszlai in the build-up. And you've got the 47th minute. McAtee steps up for a free kick just outside the box, but his effort goes over the bar. So overall, an okay first half from a Liverpool point of view. We weren't playing free-flowing football at all, but we kept possession and got the goal that puts us ahead at half-time. Turn of the second half, more or less the same. Around the 55th minute, Trent whips in another great corner and finds Salah, who hits a solid right-foot volley on target. Good save by the keeper. Obviously speaking, if the shot was on either side, it would have been a goal. but nevertheless, it was a good save from the keeper. And then we made a few substitutions. So 58th minute, McAllister, unfortunately, was having a tough night and went through the walls. He gets substituted, and Jones takes his place in the lineup. And then around the 65th minute, further changes were made. Nunez and Elliott come on for Diaz and Mo Salah. 77th minute, Nunez has a fantastic chance as he goes through on goal, blocked by the goalkeeper. 82nd minute, Jones has a moment where he goes through on goal, but couldn't find the power to place the ball in the bottom corner. Nice play by Gakpo and Elliott in the lead up. Around that sort of minute, I would say around the 85th minute, Sheffield United were applying a lot of pressure in the final 10 minutes of the game. Archer has a shot from a corner that bounced to the ground, but over the bar. But Liverpool brought the deadlock, 94th minute. And we scored the final goal to kill the game. Great determination from Nunez, who tackles Bogle to claim the ball. He hits a fantastic zipped pass towards Szoboszlai across the pitch, who at that stage was unmarked. He controls the ball effortlessly and smashes it into the corner. So overall, a solid win for Liverpool. Probably not the scoreline that most was expected. I predicted 5-0. So, yeah, that new manager bounce definitely was in full effect during this game. But nevertheless, we won the game. And we didn't really play our best football, which, shows in terms of where we are in terms of performance-wise and where we are as a collective. We really had to match Sheffield United physically, as they were difficult opponents today, and the crowd was certainly behind them. But these are the type of games that you have to win ugly in order to challenge for the title. And it goes without saying we're certainly up there. And today, in terms of the results, you got Man City losing to Aston Villa, so they've dropped to 4th, and Aston Villa have moved up to 3rd. So looks like an exciting midway part of the season where the top 4 changes pretty much every week. You had Tottenham a few weeks ago. They've dropped out. You had United at one point. Now you've got Aston Villa in there. So it's definitely an exciting opening, 14 weeks into the Premier League. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. But what we'll do now, we'll switch over and present my player ratings for Liverpool. As I mentioned earlier in the hour, this is a calling show. So if you'd like to join and have your say, the link is in the chat and description. I'll start bringing people on the screen before I complete the show. So, yeah, if you'd like to come on, hit the link and I'll get you on in due time. So let's begin with the player ratings as I share the graphics with you guys. Here we are. So let's start with Kelleher. So I was quite critical of Kelleher's performance against Fulham, and rightly so. There's no agenda with Kelleher whatsoever, but I feel like he was very disappointed in that game. This game against Sheffield United was much better. Made a couple of good saves in the first half. Looked a bit more assured on the ball. And in terms of, didn't have a lot of shots to save in this game, and not a lot of crosses to do either. But whatever he had to deal with, he did it comfortably well. So a solid performance, and hopefully it continues, as Alisson still not quite fit. He won't be playing this week against Palace, but I've heard he might be ready for the West Ham game. So he's actually, I think he's come up with his injury earlier than expected. I think the club were expecting him to be out for 2-3 weeks. He's actually recovered in very quick form. So good for us in that regards. So we've still got a couple of games before he takes part again. So in terms of Kelleher's performance, I'll give him 7 out of 10. Let's start with Joe Gomez. Yeah, not a great performance at all, in my opinion. I said in the match preview, I didn't want to see him at left back, and that's exactly where Klopp plays him. It's just not his role whatsoever. He can't play as a left back. When he runs with the ball, he cuts in, which is obviously natural when you're a right-footed player on the left-hand side. But after he cuts in, he has no sort of vision or imagination in terms of what to do next. And that's not me being disrespectful to Gomez as a player, because put him on the right-hand side, it's natural. He knows what to do. He knows when to make the right pass, when to move in terms of attacking the byline. it's all there for him. On the left side, it's just not a natural game. And especially in one-on-one duels, he looks a bit uncomfortable in that situation as well. So I know people point out and say, look, he made his debut when he was 18 years old, playing as a left back against Arsenal. Of course, I remember that performance. It was a fantastic debut from him. But he was 18 years old. That was like, how many years? 7 years ago. So no, things have changed. He's bulked up as well since then. And in terms of his build, he is a natural centre back, but can do good job at right back as well. So no, I don't want to see him playing this role. But I guess there's not many options for Klopp, as Robertson's out. Tsimikas has been playing a lot of games in consistent form. So I think there was probably a time to rotate, and maybe this was the fixture to rotate. It would have been unfair to play one of the youngsters, so the like of Luke Chambers, into this game, as Sheffield United are not an easy opponent. They're very physical in the way they play, so might not be the right game to throw him in. So yeah, I'll have to look at it in that regard. But I understand why Klopp selected him, but it's just not my cup of tea, and that's just my opinion there. But in terms of his performance today, I thought he was average, to be polite. So I'm giving him a 6 out of 10. In terms of Van Dijk, he was fantastic today. Absolutely amazing in terms of how he played. He's looking like his best, but when I say his best, he's not going to play like the Virgil van Dijk from a few years ago when we won the league. Due to that injury he suffered against Everton, it's kind of made him adapt his game a little bit, where he doesn't have that burst of speed like he used to. Don't get me wrong, he's probably still one of the quickest centre-backs around. But I think there's certain times where if we're attacked by the opponent, he would go charging in and just make that tackle. Now, I feel like with his maturity and intelligence now, he waits for that attacker to come closer to him, and then he closes the space and then makes a block or makes the tackle. And that's exactly what happened during the game against Archer. And that was a prime example of Van Dijk being a different type of defender now, but still being elite in what he does. So no, for me, fantastic defensive performance, very good in terms of in the air, very dominant. I don't think he lost a battle in the air at all in this game. And then passing was good as always. And obviously he got the goal to start off the scoreline for us. So in terms of his performance, I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. Konate, for me, had a solid game. Did have some shaky moments, though. Now, people point out and say maybe that's the fact that he's playing two roles where he's covering Trent on the right-hand side. Yeah, possibly. But I'm speaking more in terms of on the ball, where he just didn't look assured with the ball at his feet. There were a couple of times where I think Archer got the best of him as well in terms of using his pace. And yeah, just made a few erratic decisions in his play. But I think in the second half, he did a bit better. So a solid game, nevertheless. And look, we've kept a clean sheet, which is very important in this kind of game. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Trent, for me, had a good game. Very, very solid in terms of how he performed. He played the inverted role, which I expected, which was good to see. Defensively, he was very good as well. I remember there was a moment in the second half where they were attacking us on the left-hand side. And for a moment, I felt like he might have dived in to make that tackle, but he kept his ground and did a standing tackle, got the ball away. So you've got to ignore the rival fans in terms of the noise they make about Trent. We watch him week in, week out. I'm not saying he's the best defender in the world, don't get me wrong, but he's still a decent defender. He's just probably, I think his weakness is one-on-one duels, where he'll probably get beaten a bit easily in comparison to someone that's like a traditional defensive right back, i.e. like a Wan-Bissaka, for example. But how many Wan-Bissakas do you see in this day and age? The modern day fullback is completely different now. So in terms of how he played today, defensively, very good. And on the ball as well, very, very good. His set piece, especially from the corners, were very, very good. Don't know what he was doing for that assist. Chiku always putting shorts down. I know he did that on purpose, so probably distracting the linesman or just getting annoyed with the crowd behind him. So he thought he'd show his backhand towards them. But no, fantastic delivery from the corner kicks. And yeah, it's definitely influencing how we're playing right now. So no, he's in great confidence. Since he's worn those as Predators, he's just leveled up, which is good to see. So in terms of his performance today, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Just got a comment here from Hakeem Adam. It says, big up yourself, Hakeem. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your comment as well. Let's go to Endo. In terms of his performance, I was very impressed with his performance. Second half, I feel like he wasn't as impactful as he was. First half, I feel like he was really good, destroying a lot of the play, because I think the best part of Sheffield United's game was in the first half, and he really helped in terms of breaking up play, even in terms of his passing, which I feel like is a bit underrated amongst us fans. Did really good with the ball. I remember there was one moment in the first half where he broke up play and then he dribbled past two players and hit the ball towards Luis Diaz on the left-hand side. So he had those kind of glimpses where he showed his technical ability as well, made a couple professional tackles, as you like to say, which is what you need from a destroyer. You don't need to be clean cut all the time. And for the fact that he was wearing a gum shield as well, just showed me that he was ready for war in this game. So no, very, very impressed with his performance. I'm actually going to give him an 8 out of 10. I thought he was solid. Probably one of our better midfielders, I would say, in today's performances. McAllister just had one of those nights where, yeah, I think the opening, I think it was the 4th minute, got bashed into. And then in the second half as well, I think it was around the 50th minute, got bashed into again. So, yeah, he wasn't having the best of times against a physical and tough opposition. On the ball, he was decent, but he didn't do anything spectacular, in my opinion. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give him a bit of a low ranking. I'll give him, what should I give McAllister? I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I don't think he was that bad, but I don't think he was that influential as well at the same time. In terms of Szoboszlai, I think he had a good game. I wouldn't say he had a great game. He got better in the second half, where I feel like he played with a bit more freedom. His role changed a little bit when the substitution was made, so he was playing a bit more on the right-hand side, so interchanging with Elliot a lot more. But it seemed to suit his game, playing on that side. And then he got into a tussle with McAtee, I believe it was. That kind of spurred him on a little bit, where I feel like he showed more energy after that, and eventually got his goal, which was a great control. You know his technique. Obviously, we've only seen him for a few months, but I've watched him for Red Bull Leipzig and even Red Bull Salzburg. Technically, he's amazing on the ball, and that is his trait in terms of the way he kicks the ball with finesse and zip, and that finish. I know it was point blank, but you can just see in terms of someone's technique in terms of how they hit the ball, and he hit it very sweetly. So no, good touch, good shot to make it 2-0. At that stage, we won't really be in trouble, but it's just nice to end the game with a bigger scoreline, I guess, and maintain a clean sheet. But yeah, I think he had a good game. I don't think it was one of his stand-up performances. I'm not going to boost his ranking too high because of his goal. So I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. In terms of the attackers, ineffective, in my opinion. Let's start with Salah. Salah had a few moments where he had a couple digs at goal. Didn't really trouble the keeper. I know there was a couple shots that was saved, but they were pretty much straight at him. Just didn't play with that energy that we're used to seeing with him. I'm hoping the big 200 goal mark isn't, adding pressure on his own shoulders. Shouldn't be the case, because Salah's used to scoring plenty of goals and breaking records left, right, and center. But yeah, maybe he just needs a bit of a breather as well. This would have been the game that I would have minded if he had been rotated. But I think Klopp wanted to make sure that we got the victory in this one. So in terms of his performance, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great as well at the same time. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. And the player on the other side, pretty much similar performance, to be fair, where in the first half, I feel like he was more effective, Didn't really trouble the goalkeeper as such, but provided plenty of width. Took on their fullback, so it was Bogle on that right-hand side, and really attacked him a few times, which is what you want to see from your winger. Did a couple good crosses as well, but yeah, nothing with any great end product. So decent performance, but nothing spectacular. So I'm going to give him 7 out of 10 as well. Oops, for some reason that's changed. There you go, 7 out of 10. And then in terms of Gakpo, yeah, below par to say the least. I was giving a big build up in the match preview yesterday. I was hoping he'd start, which I got my wish in that case, but he didn't show that level of performance that I expected from him, especially how he performed against Lask last week. Just wasn't involved in the game, and that tends to happen with Gakpo sometimes. And then even in the second half when we made some substitutions, his role changed, so he played on the left hand side. He dribbled with confidence, but I don't know, didn't really have an impact on the game. So unfortunately, I can't give him a very high ranking today. So I'm going to give him a 6.5. So let me know what you guys think so far on my ranking. Have I been harsh with some? Have I been harsh with Gakpo and Gomez? Have I ranked certain players too high? Drop a comment and let me know. Let's bring on the subs. So we have Jones that came on for McAllister. Curtis Jones. And then we have Elliott that came on for Salah. And then we have Nunez who came on for Diaz. Oops. Nunez, and the final substitute was Gravenberg on for Gakpo. So Gravenberg. I forgot to put him on. So Elliott on that right hand side as well. So yeah, Gravenberg definitely didn't play up top. So put Gravenberg here. So Nunez was definitely playing more up top, I would say. I think you can put Jones there and Gravenberg and Elliott there. So let's start with Jones. So Jones came on. He was the first sub to come on. Didn't do much, if I'm being brutally honest. He had that one moment where he had a good sort of run into the box. Tried to place it in the bottom corner, but just didn't have the angle. Couldn't get his foot around the ball where he could have curled it into the goal. So that was one moment where obviously he scored, then it's a different ranking altogether. But yeah, it wasn't impactful in my opinion. I don't know what it is with Jones. I don't know if he's not fully fit or whatnot, but it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look like his normal self, where he's normally quick on the ball, good with his passing, one-touch passing especially, just wasn't there. So I'm gonna have to give him a 6 out of 10. In terms of Elliott was okay. Yeah, he just had a few moments on the right hand side. Good interchange between him and Sabota, actually. That was good to see. That also gives me a sort of preview of how the team will set up on that side when Salah goes to AFCON when he's on international duty for Egypt. So a lot of fans were saying when he does go, Sabota will be playing right wing. I don't think he will be playing right wing. I can see Elliott starting the role as a right winger, and you've got these two interchanging, and I think that will be how we secure that right hand side. I have no issues with that. I think some fans are underwhelmed when it comes to Elliott on the right wing. I actually think he does a decent job there. He's not going to be like Mo Salah, where he's showing blistering pace and scoring curlers everywhere, but he'll be creative. He'll provide width, and he'll provide energy on that right hand side as well, which is what you want from a youngster. So no, he had a decent performance. Not as impactful as he has in previous weeks, but I'll still give him a decent ranking. So it'll be 6 out of 10. And then in terms of Nunez, he definitely had more of an impact, in my opinion. Had a chance where he had a shot through on goal, saved by the keeper, good block there. But it was just his energy. He kept on going. Needs to work on staying on side. Gets on offside far too many times. So that's something he needs to work on. Even his finishing as well, just a bit of composure in that situation. A dink was required for that finish. But the assist that he gave for Szoboszlai towards the end of the game, that was all down to his work, because he lost the ball, chased the fullback, tackled him, and our VAR were reviewing it thinking it was a two-footed tackle. It wasn't. It was just a sliding tackle where he wanted to make sure he got the ball. He eventually got it, and then zipped in a fantastic cross towards Szoboszlai, and then Szoboszlai did his thing and smashed into the back of the net. So no, he showed energy up top, more so than what I can say for Gakpo, who for me just ghosted throughout the game. So I'm going to give Nunez 7 out of 10. And in terms of Gravenberch, he came on around the 84th minute, so not much impact to the game, I guess. So I can't rank him too high, and I don't feel like he got that many touches of the ball either. So I'm just going to give him 6 out of 10. So let me know what you guys think in terms of the comments. In terms of my ranking. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. And yeah, that's a wrap up for today. I can't see any callers backstage, so that's time for us to conclude the show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Next show will be taking place tomorrow, as I'll be joined by a special guest to do the match preview of Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. So please make sure to tune in. The show will begin at 10 p.m. UK time. So until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Goodbye.